with David Ian and Kate Dale.
The show that plumbs the depths of mediocrity, celebrates the ordinary, and enjoys the everyday.
Hi everyone, welcome to Mediocre, the podcast. I'm David Ian.
And I'm Kate Dale.
How are you doing this week, Kate?
I'm very good, thank you, David. How are you?
I'm good. I've got something on my mind I want to talk about now.
No way, that's lucky.
Imagine.
You don't actually have any guests this week.
No,
so
it's just family.
Aren't you lucky?
So I want to talk about... Right.
See, whenever you says that, I always have a slight like, oh God, buckle up, what are we in for now?
So this is the thing. For a long time, since... the late 90s, I have been a very big fan, some might say obsessed, with a British soul singer called Beverley Knight.
Of Beverley.
Who doesn't? And so she's got like a really successful pop career. She's considered probably the best vocalist in the UK right now. Well, for like the last 30 odd years. And then she's made this crossover into being a West End star. She's done loads of shows, a brilliant leading lady. She's in Sylvia right now at the Old Vic. But she's done loads of things like The Bodyguard and Memphis and things like that. And she was in Cats. And she's amazing. And but I would say that she's never really received the recognition that I feel like she's deserved, right?
And why do you think that is?
Institutionalised racism within the UK entertainment industry.
Carry on.
You didn't think I had an answer to that, did you?
No, it was genuinely I was going to
I've always thought, and I mean, I've done no studying of the subject or anything, and there's no humour here, but I've always thought that if she was American, if she'd been in America, they would have known what to do with her. And I think if you listen to like any interviews or watch any interviews with her, this is touched on quite a lot. And the labels always wanted to like mold her into something that she wasn't and that she didn't want to be. And one of the things I always really identified with and really loved about her was that she was really very much herself, and that what she wrote really came from the heart. And she was signed with Parlophone, which was a big label, and when that contract came to an end, when she was got to like the pinnacle of her commercial music success, I believe, they wanted to do like a 360 deal where they would have made money out of everything else that she was doing, and she'd always like financed her own tours and things like that, so she didn't want to give that up, quite rightly. So she set up her own record label and went independent. Yeah, I know, I'm obsessed. But anyway, the point of that is she released an album called 100%, and it was just incredibly personal, and a lot of the songs on it, like there's a song on it called Gold Chain, and it's about the control that they wanted to have over her, and I think that really speaks to what the problem was. Anyway, that's not what I wanted to actually talk about.
No, sorry, and I was laughing just because it's the way you describe the business side of what you did as well, because it speaks to two things. So it's Beverley and business I know that you get quite obsessed
about, yeah. It's also why I love Dolly Parton, because of her business, but anyway.
That's a whole other episode, but I feel that, there's lots said about Dolly, but can never be enough said about Dolly. I was going to ask, what was, for people who maybe don't know her music, I mean, shame, obviously, but when did you first come across her, and what song really stuck out for you? How old were you as well?
Oh, now you're really putting me on the spot in terms of how old I was. I'm not entirely sure how old I would have been. So she, I'm trying to think so I was aware of Flavour of the Old School, but only sort of vaguely aware of it, which was like her debut single. But when people would be aware, like when she got like more mainstream success, she released a song called Shoulda, Woulda, Coulda, off an album called Who I Am. And that got a lot of mainstream success. She had a song that I think she wrote with Guy Chambers, who did a lot of work with Robbie Williams, called Come As You Are, which again was like a big radio hit. Of a really great album. There was some really, really brilliant tracks on that Who I Am album that never got released. Anywho. But the reason why I wanted to talk about it today, what I'm annoyed about, is I feel like she's always been successful. She's always been a great success story. But I kind of feel like now she's getting all the recognition and super mainstream. Like she's on a Saturday night TV show on ITV called Starstruck. She's at the Old Vic, and I'm sort of a bit jealous that I feel like the rest of the world is catching up to something that I felt like I was like.
So, to paraphrase, if I may, you're upset that someone who you didn't think had got all the success and recognition that they deserved
is finally,
and that's making you really, really angry.
I mean, it's not making me really, really angry, and I'm delighted for her because I can't think of anybody that's worked so hard for so long that has deserved it as much. But so for some context, I'm not going to come out of this well. I don't know why we're going here, but like,
when do you ever find these podcasts, David?
Never. There was one of her tours. I had some time available and some available money, so I did follow her for a little bit, like on the tour. So I did go to.
Did you say we, like you and Beverley toured together?
Yes, I did make it sound like that. Yeah.
So I pointed myself, popped her entourage, whether she liked it or not.
I did see 7 shows in a row of her tour. And so so I met her a number of times. I think, so by my maths, I was trying to work out when I realised I was going to talk about this, I was trying to work out how many times I've seen her live. So I believe now I've seen her live 49 times. Yeah. And the real sad thing here is that it's her 50th birthday this month, and she's doing a show for her 50th birthday, and I can't go to it because I've got a gig. So her 50th birthday celebration would be my 50th time of seeing her.
She must be dead. Have you contacted her to explain?
Well, see, this is the other thing that makes me really sad.
Order, not letting you.
But see, this is the thing that's really sad, is that when I had more time in my life and I would go and see her all the time and we would meet each other a lot, and she had and she wasn't as mainstream. Yeah, just let me have it. She knew who I was. But since then I've grown my hair and put on a significant amount of weight and may or may not use a very slightly different name. And so now I feel like on social media, like I appear different. And so I wonder if like next time she sees me, because it's been a couple of years since I've seen her, I feel like she might not remember me. And then I don't this is sad, isn't it?
I mean, no, it's lovely and loving. I have no idea of knowing how delusional it is, to be honest.
Oh, totally delusional.
I don't want to puncture anything.
Well, she sung my name into a song.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, right, well, yeah, okay.
And when I saw, she was doing a festival in Newcastle, and me and one of my mates, who's also an obsessed, who I met on the Beverley Knight forum back in the day.
Are you single?
I don't know. She had us backstage, and yeah, we got to eat the food.
Okay. So yeah, well, thank you for answering my question.
So yeah.
So what I'm now worried about is Beverley must be thinking, what have I done wrong? Why does he not like me anymore?
No,
Why is he ghosting me? You have ghosted Beverley Knight.
Oh, when you put it like that, yeah.
You've changed your identity, you've changed your appearance, you don't show up at any of her gigs anymore.
I do show up at her gigs.
But she doesn't recognise you because you've changed, so you're just lurking incognito.
I can't go to the next gig. And also it's harder to, since COVID, it's been harder to see people, blah, blah, blah. She's not toured as much.
That's what they all say. I've had that from some minute. Oh, yeah, I've been busy. It's not you, it's me.
We're going to see her in Sylvia.
I'm not very worried about that and about how you're due to behave.
No, it's different. It's different because we won't be in the front row. You always like to get in the front row and in the middle so that she knows that I'm there. I'll never forget the very first time that I met her, she was doing some sort of charity event in Belfast, I think it was. So my brother and I, God help him, my brother came with me because I didn't have anyone else to go. We flew over to Belfast to see this show, and you could buy this upgrade where you could meet her beforehand. And it was just so overwhelming that I couldn't do anything other than cry. And my brother had to translate and tell her that it was tears of joy. And she gave me this massive poster. She went and took one of the posters off the wall and she signed it across her boobs and said, "There you go." Very special. I still have the poster.
There's so much loveliness in this.
I know.
To be honest, I'm a bit jealous because I don't think I've ever had that sort of passion or obsession for one particular person or group. I've got to talk about this before, obsessed with musicals. And so Les Mis was the first one probably that I really just absolutely blew me away. But it's an ensemble thing. It's not that sort of following somebody around, and it's not that really love affair. One-sided, possibly.
I mean, I think her husband, then boyfriend, probably wouldn't want us to think of it as a love affair, and it's a purely non-sexual thing, obviously.
There are many different types of love.
I think most people have something in their lives that's really spoke to them, and music for a lot of people is that. And music is very important to people, and sometimes somebody writes a song that is exceptionally important and like changes your life. And she wrote a song called Gold, and yeah, it's a really important song to me, and it's very moving, and it means everything. And I feel like I owe her for putting the song into the world, which I know sounds insane, but it's, what it did for me is really important.
That's really lovely, and I'm now trying to desperately think of something to ridicule you for, but I can't. This is like Mediocre Gay, the podcast as sincere, which is not really our band.
No,
is it?
but also,
I do apologise.
But also, one of the things that I absolutely love is because on one of the tours, I was invited to the tour rap party, which was in a nightclub, and she's in the VIP area. She doesn't drink. She was drinking tea out of had a teapot and everything. I mean, how epic is that? Actually, right? There's something that's exceptionally rock and roll about that. Like, everyone else is just there boozing up, and she's like, "No, I'll have tea." So
how did it happen then that you went from being someone who's crying and is, bless you, brother, I have to say, that's a bit lovely.
Yeah.
I've said about before, but from that to her then knowing your name and your details enough to be able to get in touch with you and invite you to things. Does that happen?
Do you know what it was? Twitter back in the day, like when I joined Twitter because she joined Twitter. And then it was like this new way of interacting with people way back before it became like really a cesspool now.
You're talking directly to them.
Yeah.
Well, you were.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, like we for a long time, not long, but for a period, we direct messaged and things like that. But yeah, like when it was much lower usage, and when she didn't have now she's got like 150,000 followers or whatever, but she was building it then. And yeah, so you'd be able to be like, "Oh, I'm coming to the show tonight," and before a gig, she would tweet out, and then she would reply in that. And obviously, there wasn't as much social media then, so it was before Instagram. So it was a much more personal thing. So I think for a lot of artists, that was the case, that it made much more of a personal connection. Obviously, Twitter's a completely different space now, so it's not, it's not really the same thing. But I can remember, like one of her. Oh God, I sound like a stalker. I'm not. I promise. I remember one of the very first tweets was about like she was recording the album, and we were so desperate. When I say we, I mean me and the people on the Beverley Knight forum.
It felt like a really personal connection, and it was before, obviously, I mean, if they did have people then in their accounts for them, you didn't feel it.
No, and I don't, like, she didn't, because we direct messaged, and that it was her. And yeah, it was a really interesting way to like learn more about her life and feel a bit of connection. I think that social media is obviously slightly different now. One of the things is that there's much more, Instagram, there's more channels to like competing for the space. So I don't think it is as personal as it was.
Whereas when I would have been at the equivalent age, it would all have been paper-based fan clubs and things like that, where you sent things off. So maybe that's part of the reason why I didn't have that. Yeah,
maybe. I mean, I was a member of the Eternal Fan Club.
Yes.
Which you used to pay an annual subscription to in 1997. I mean,
you just work harder than me, David, at
being crazy. Yeah. And I remember they would send you like a signed poster, which was clearly printed. I know, terrible. There used to be a like a newsletter that came out.
Yes, mass-produced nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah. She got you into Twitter. I started using Google because Graham Norton used it on So Graham Norton.
Did you want one of those phones that Graham Norton had? Do you know, like the long phones? Oh, me too. Yeah, on So Graham Norton on Channel 4, right?
Yeah.
Amazing TV.
But so we still sort of haven't explained your annoyance, I feel. We're sort of leaping around before we get to the fact we are back to the fact that you are...
Right. Look, I feel like...
She's yours and no one else is allowed.
No, not at all, because...
You're locked in a box.
No, I'm delighted that the whole world is appreciating the talent. I mean, like... Prince, so she's a massive fan of Prince, and Prince saw her sing and wanted to sing with her and flew her over to LA for his Oscars party to sing for everybody because he could recognise what a talent she was. And I'm delighted that the world is finally waking up. But
yes.
I still feel shortchanged because I'm like, some of us were there first, and and now...
So you deserve into the golden circle, right? But because you've changed your name, your hairstyle, your physical
Oh my God, you're saying it's all my fault.
It's all your fault. Maybe you weren't attentive enough to Beverley. Maybe, David.
Maybe.
Too busy having your own life.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
But to be clear here, in terms of the theme of the podcast, what we're saying is mediocre here. It's clearly not Beverley.
No. But
it's your reaction.
No.
We're saying your reaction is mediocre, but we're celebrating your reaction.
I don't think any of it's mediocre. Loosely related.
Why are you wasting our time talking about a mediocre game?
How could I not talk about Beverley? Because why are we talking about it? Because I was upset when I realised just how difficult it was to get tickets for Sylvia. Because everybody wants to see Beverley.
Or everyone just loves going to see plays about the suffragettes.
I think there's that too, but like...
I mean, I love the idea that suffragette history is so mainstream there that you...
I secretly love the fact that Beverley sells lots of tickets in the West End. It feels like some vindication for the past. She has a song. She's got this song. She's got this song. She's got a song called Square Peg, which is talking about like she's a square peg in a round hole, and people have never known really like how to fit her. Right? Obviously, you guessed. But what I really love.
Thank you for explaining the concept of square peg.
Not everybody might get it, right?
Oh, they will do.
Anyway, I feel like she's like found the square hole and it's all sort of working and it's lovely.
Hope for us all, David.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
One day.
Also, she's a real testament to the fact that like you do your own path and you do your own thing.
Yeah.
And like it all comes right in the end and like you will be where you're supposed to be. And she's got like an amazing relationship with her husband and like what appears from the outside hopefully to be a really fulfilling life. But she never seems to have compromised her integrity or character, and I think like that really speaks to the honesty in the music and the songs, and that's what the original connection was about. And so yeah, maybe I'm not pissed off about it, maybe I just
wanted to talk about Beverley in the hopes
come on the podcast.
Let me into your VIP circle.
She's doing this show on ITV, and that's on Saturday night. It's the second series, and it's a big deal. It's a really good show, actually. Starstruck, ITV, I think it's 8 o'clock Saturday nights. It just feels like a really mainstream space to see. And I love it, but I'm also like...
It's an interesting thing, though. I mean, lots of people talk about this, don't they? And you see it, I think, with people who love indie music and things, where they much prefer the band or the group when it's their secret and they're in a part of... Like you said, you're... the forum, the little second group, it's theirs, you follow them around, you're a part of it, you're all in it together, and then they get that mainstream success, and then it's just become, you're not annoying much, but they become those annoying people who say, oh, it's not as good, and you should have been there, or, oh, you see it with festivals as well, oh, you should have been here.
But and interestingly, like, as, like, a weird gay boy in 1999...
It's a weird gay boy in 2023.
Yeah. It was like I made friends via like the Beverley Knight forum, so I have friends that I still have now because of Beverley. So, and the thing that really brought this round is she's playing Mighty Hoopla, which feels like a real mainstream gay thing for her to be headlining one of the stages on, and I'm like, I'm going to be competing with all the other gays for her attention, which feels...
That's not triggering at all, is it?
This feels like a scenario I never anticipated being in.
But yet strangely familiar as well.
Yeah.
Standing out in a field of gays.
So that's the real reason.
Okay, thank you. You've made it mediocre.
That's what it was about.
You got there in the end.
Basically, I'm like, how will she know that I'm there in amongst all these other gays?
Because she'll have listened to this, maybe.
That's the plan. No, I was just really traumatised about it, and there we are. But you should all go and listen to some Beverley music.
We should really do a
playlist,
shouldn't we? A playlist, I think.
Yeah.
Put it on there.
Just be a lot of Cher, Dolly, Beverley.
Well, yeah, and problem is...
some spoken word from Jane Fonda.
Yeah.
Amazing. Beverley, if you are watching, could you record a new album, please? Thanks. Right, we'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening, everyone. If you made it to the end, well done.
See you next time.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Mediocre Gay, the podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe and give us a 5-star rating. It helps other people find the show.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Mediocre Gay Pod, or share your mediocre secrets with us on mediocregaypod@gmail.com.